Hi everyone, blessings to all. I'm coming today to talk a little bit about fear of surviving. At this moment, we are all being in a situation that awakens these inner fears, and we feel uncertainty of what is going to happen. How am I going to pay my bills? Am I going to be able to make money to buy food? How am I going to eat? I have to provide for my family. What is your fear? And I wanted to talk today about the transgenerational because with the situation that we are living, I'm not going to name it, but most of us know it about the virus. So we don't put energy on it. That's why I don't want to say the name. But I want to say that most of us are being impacted by that. And we feel this fear of uncertainty. We don't know what is going to happen. And I wanted to talk about the transgenerational because we have seen this from different angles. Maybe from the medical angle, the physical, what happens in the body, what is the origin, how can affect you, how you can help yourself, prevention, and also all the emotions that bring and everything. But we haven't paid attention to see what is showing us because everything is showing something, first of all. And second of all, those fears maybe are not ours. Maybe those fears come from our ancestors. The transgenerational and the epigenetics talk about how we don't inherit only the genetics, but we also inherit the memories of surviving from our ancestors, meaning that those fears that they couldn't resolve and maybe they died, they are still awakening in us. They were transferred, let's put it this way. It runs in our DNA. And when something like this happens, because it's a collective fear, the memory, boom, awakens, becomes active. And we start feeling the same fear of surviving. Fears, we have many different, if we talk about our ancestors, because it's an ancestral fear, way, way, way beyond and back in the past. Our ancestors went through different challenges and they couldn't resolve those because they didn't have the technology, because they didn't have the possibilities, name it, right? If there was a winter, and it was, you live in a place that was very far away from others. Maybe people died from they were hungry, they didn't have any food. You know, there are different things that people could have died from, or maybe they couldn't get help and they died, or maybe they were left, or maybe they left their clan and they couldn't survive. So there are many, many different fears that are come in our DNA that we don't see them until we live them. Pretty much at this time, we are experiencing something that we thought it was like part of the stories we read in a book, or the past. We didn't think it would touch us. We saw it so far away from us. But now that it's like so close, we are experiencing that fear of surviving. And I wanted to talk about this today because this is a different angle. Maybe we haven't seen this from this angle, but if we get to at least recognize where this fear comes from, it will be easier for us to liberate it, to let it go. we must integrate it too, because sometimes we want to resist, and the more I resist, the more I attract. But the more I integrate, the more I liberate. So my intention with this um, share today is that we can understand that it is kind of normal, because actually when our ancestors got to survive, they taught us how to survive, but also they taught us how these fears can be awakened, because it's a fear that is a collective fear that is affecting us. I'm going to talk a little bit about examples. Let's talk about way back in history. If we go back to Egypt and we talk about the plagues, the 9 plagues, that was something that was out of their control. It came, it happened, everybody got locked inside their houses, but still was affected. And we are living the same sort of situation. We are being isolated, a sort of isolation, because we are staying home and we don't know what is going to happen, and there is not a solution yet, or maybe not yet. I'm hoping there is one. But back then, it was harder to find a solution. So those fears for the descendants of these people, they had this fear of, what if a plague comes again? What if a virus comes again and we don't know how to deal with it? And maybe many of the members of my family can die, or I can die. We have all of these fears from that, for example. What about when there were wars, and afterwards, people had situations of not being able to have money to buy food to provide for their families? Those are fears that come from our ancestors. So my question to you is, do you know what your ancestors went through? Like stories of surviving, maybe not your parents, but maybe your grandparents or your great grandparents. Maybe they came from a situation they had to uh, fly away from something, or maybe they went through a hard situation they couldn't resolve, and maybe someone died, because pretty much our fear is of dying too. And that is normal, because we came here to this life because we want to bring more life. We want to keep the life going in this reality, in this place called Earth, in this dimension. And so it was important. I wanted to share this. For example, in the 18th, I would say, there was a fever that, or this sort of influenza, or it was like a sort of influenza, and also there was a fever that was very popular, and many people died from it, and they didn't have antibiotics, of course. I don't know how they got to control that, but at a certain point, that got to be stopped. But the fear was there, and people were locked, and they didn't want to be in contact with others. Just as is happening today. You go to a place, and people look at you like they have this sort of not trusting, and that is normal, because you're taking care of yourself. Of course, we need to be protective, right, of our own life, and so that's normal. But that's a sort of the same. We are. I don't want to be in touch with you. I want to be away. Don't touch, or be away from me. And that's part of being having this cautious is good, because it's gonna help. But I'm talking that before, when they have a solution, they will lock themselves at home. So all of these states created memories of surviving that weren't resolved. So that's what's happening today again. And that's why I wanted to compare, let's put it this way, what happened before and what is happening today. And that the fear that we are feeling, the uncertainty or the fear of surviving, they all come from those ancestral fears. So my share today also is to do a little exercise so we can liberate a little bit of that fear and deal with it in a different way. Understanding this, what I just said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do so you can understand the practice that we're going to be doing. I am a facilitator of family and systemic constellations. And what I do with the constellations is that I help people transcend all of these memories that are unconscious. You don't know where they come from, but they are affecting you in your present, or your emotions, or your physical body, or your thoughts, or your behaviors, the way you behave. So transcending this is going to help us liberate this, and we're going to feel more understanding what it is that fear, and that we can deal better with it. So I'm gonna put this, and just think that this is the fear of surviving, or uncertainty, or all of this. And we're going to see it and say, fear, fear, I see you. Just say it, I see you. And I recognize you. I know where you come from. I know you come from our ancestors. Now that I see you, I can integrate you. And you can put your hand here and integrate that. Say, it's okay for me to feel this fear. But I also know where it comes from. So thank you for showing and for letting me know where it comes from. Now I can deal with you in a different way. Now we're gonna bring here the energy of life. And we're gonna see the life itself, and say, I do see you. And I trust in whatever is happening is going to take us to a better place. And I trust that if you brought me here, you are going to take care of me too. I will be provided at the right time, in the right moment. So I trust. And I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to exhale. And I'm going to feel this trust. I want you to feel this trust that everything is going to be okay, that you're not alone, that life itself is doing some adjustments, and I'm trusting that when everything is settled down, then I'll be provided. Or at this moment, things will be provided for me. Very good. So that's why I wanted to share today, give you this tool and this observation. And I also wanted to invite you, because this Saturday I will be holding a family and systemic constellation online. I decided to work online. I do one-on-one sessions, and I also do group sessions. And so this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be through Zoom doing a constellation. The constellation, we don't only do ancestral, not ancestral, I'm sorry, collective issues. We do individual issues, because the healing of one is the healing of all, not all of his system or her system, the healing of all the systems, the oneness. So I decided to help doing this journey to the soul, because what is looking to heal is the collective soul, but it should start with the individual soul. So I'm doing these 7 steps to heal the soul. There is so much we need to dig into it so we can let go. And once we liberate, we integrate, we help. That's the way we can help today. So that's my invitation to you. If you want to join, contact me through Facebook. I'm as Mayadari del Sol. I'm also on YouTube. I'm going to leave the link for you to register. It's only $21. And what's going to happen in the session is that I will be talking a little bit. I will do a little intro on the subject of the day. And then we're going to do a constellation, and we're going to make a drawing. So whoever gets to be the one, we will constellate that person. So you could be the one who could be constellated, and we can address what's happening with you, because we have so many issues. It's not only about what's happening, but we have issues with our health, with emotions, with thoughts. And the way to change that is through feeling a different, because sometimes we think that we understand it. Understanding stays in the mind. We need the soul to feel the change. That's what constellations do. So put it into your agenda. And if you need to contact me, you can find me as Maya Dari del Sol on Facebook and also on YouTube. I'm gonna put the links and comments so you can go ahead. And also I have a fan page. It's called Systemic and Family Constellations Orlando in Facebook, in my Facebook. And the event is there. So thank you for listening. Thank you for liking it if you like it. And thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you next time. Have a blessed day, and sending love to all of you. Thank you.